Say about the movement. How is he taking it? What is he doing, to make it more visible across the country? Is what we'll be talking about here this morning. Sheikh, good morning, man. Our first interaction since you're leaving from the government. How are you?
Good morning, my dear brother Clarence, and good morning to my fellow Liberians. I'm doing very, very well today. I was in well. I had some challenges when it comes to health.
Yeah, I see you backward a little bit.
Yeah, so, but today I'm grateful.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you spend the 26th? I'm asking because normally in terms of national events, you go to Prevalent Baptist Church with a flag behind you and
yes.
you'll be doing everything.
I was actually out of the country. I was in France during 26, but it was a colorful one. I watched it on television. I saw people from all walks of life that were persons. But sometimes from day one, I think I told you before, celebrating independence in Liberia with an impact on the life of our people is very much questionable to me, even though it is an obligation somehow that we must celebrate it because it is our national day. But at the same time, the celebration should also come with some patriotic cautioning about ourselves to say, why are we celebrating and why have we gone? We have 179 years now since we got independence. There's no African country in this country that have independence like 100 years ago. So we should be asking ourselves, what have we achieved in 179 years? But I can say to you that I'm grateful that I'm back home and I will continue to be the same Sheikh I am. The movement that has been formed is not a movement against any particular group. It is not a movement against the government. It is a movement for the people. The African People Movement, that's the name of the movement.
The African People Movement?
Yeah.
So it's different from your political party?
No, it is not a political party. It is a non-racial.
You have a political party, a registered political party,
yeah, we
right?
do have a
registered
first movement. We do have a registered political party. But what I do understand, Clarence, when the chicken lay egg and the egg is harsh, it gives birth to chick. Liberia was not giving birth through political institutions. Liberia was given birth to civil rights movement. And I think the solution for our country should be non-political, non-racial, non-ethnic, and non-religious. And with that, we can move forward as a nation. Clarence, I'm very much I'm no longer concerned. I'm now worried.
Worried?
Yes.
About what?
I'm worried about the future of this country. When we talk about future, the future is given birth by the persons. You cannot harvest when you have not sown. And we as a nation, let us ask ourselves sincerely, are we together? Liberia, the name Liberia is a nomenclature that represents freedom. Should we refer to ourselves as people who are freed? Should we refer to ourselves as people or land of liberty? What is the essence of liberty when majority of citizens, people who are referred to as citizens in the country, live like strangers in this country, and those who are referred to as foreigners live better life than those who are born here? How will our country be 179 years? We have agreements, concession agreement being signed for 90 years, for 50 years, for 70 years, for 80 years, and there's no impact on the life of the people. Every government that comes to position, they come with the same agenda. Road, infrastructure development, water, electricity, education, healthcare, sanitation, reconciliation, integrity, anti-corruption. They come with the same agenda. And after 6 years or 12 years, the next government come, they come with the same agenda. Those roads that were faced yesterday will be the same road that will be passing again. And sometimes they will begin a new process. And then they will say, oh, this project belongs to this president out there who was the president, so we're not going to continue it. We're going to do something afresh. This country, my brother, does not need political solution. This country requires patriotism. It doesn't require political party. What it requires is that Liberians should sit together and ask themselves, we are the oldest country in Africa and one of the oldest countries in the world. Let us be an example. A friend of mine said to me in Turkey recently, he said the foundation for prosperity, is morality. And I said, what do you mean? He said, Sheikh, when you have people who have moral values, leaders who have moral values, we're not be discussing the issue of corruption. We have leaders who have moral value, we're going to be discussing the issue of the people not benefiting from the natural resources. He said one of the things we should fight on is so elect people with moral values. And not because this person is rich. They give an example. He says, name me 10 Liberian rich men who have never been in politics. That are very successful, that never been in politics. I couldn't. That live in Liberia. He was driving at the system that been built. That this country solution is not a presidential solution. This country's solution is not just a legislative solution. The solution is a national solution. That means that people must first recognize that they are Liberians. Instead of seeing themselves as partisan, seeing themselves from this tribe, seeing themselves from this religion, they should firstly identify themselves as Liberians. Then secondly, they will begin to see themselves. How do we empower ourselves? What system can we put in place to empower ourselves? Then when they talk about that, then they begin to think about leadership. How can we, what kind of leadership do we expect? Then you talk about accountable leadership. Then from there we go to the word dankotization. That's a word I just created when I say Mauritius recently when I was in dankotization.
You remind me about P.L. Lumumba when I spoke to him. He used to love the former president of Tanzania so much. When he said he was talking about Machiavellification of Africa.
Absolutely.
He believed in John Machiavelli a lot.
Yes, and I also have the same belief that if Africa had dankotization.
You mean the Dangote?
Yes. If we dangotize our natural resources, meaning that if we begin to locally produce our add value to our raw materials in Liberia, that is what we call dangotize. Because
you said what the name of your newest movement?
It's not actually my movement. It is the African People's Movement. Professor Lumumba is one of the founding fathers.
What does it seek to do?
It is a non-racial, non-ethnic, non-political movement that seek to reconcile the African people through unity, that seek to empower the African people through land and natural resources ownership, that the people should own their own land. It also seek to support leadership. It is not an anti-government movement. It is a government that supports government. It's a movement that supports government in terms of accountability, to ensure that the government is accountable to the people, the resources of the people, that the people should benefit. It doesn't want a political party to come and say, this is our platform. It wants to see a political system where the people themselves say, this is what we need. These are our needs. This is what we need. The people don't need scholarships. They don't need people to pay their school fees. They don't need people to pay their hospital bills. They need a system that will be put in place that will have free education. It needs a system that will be put in place that will support farmers. You need a system to be put in place that support disabled people. You need a system to be put in place.
We have a lot of movements in the country. We have never gotten short of establishment of different movements. Nothing is changing.
This is why we have come with this, brother. You know, the good thing is I have a history in Liberia. I have a history with the government in 2005 when my mother was very close. My late mother was very close to President Salif. On many occasions, I agree, and on many occasions, I disagree. And my very first time to even say to my mom, no, was for politics, when I said to her that Madam Salif was a good example for me. When in the 80s, she refused to take a seat as a senator. And she said that there's no need that she take a seat as a senator because she alone cannot make any difference between those other senators. So she refused to take a seat. And I, as a child at that time, I saw her as a role model. But when the war came and I heard her testimony during the TRC, where she said she gave $10,000, I began to ask myself, the person who refused a seat because of the people, why should you give $10,000 to kill your own people? Is when I began to have observation with Madam Salif. And to be honest with you, there's no Liberian, whether you're leader or not leader, that I hate. I love everyone. Loving people has no reason. But when the issue of trust, I just trust few of our Liberian politicians. And I can say to you, my brother,
who do you trust?
I had
HAD.
Yeah. I had great confidence in the current establishment.
No, you're not talking about establishment.
I had great. Let me come to that.
Where?
And through His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai Sr. Why did I trust him? I remember I was a member of the CDC at the time, and he was a vice president. I'll give you 2 occasions. One, I was appointed by the Ukrainian government as honorary consul of Ukraine to Liberia. And Fuma Salih was the head of the NSA. They investigated, they do background check, which is normal. They found nothing. And then they sent a message to the Ukrainian that the man is an enemy of the state. So when I got tipped by the Ukrainian that I think you have some political problem in your country.
That was the agreement.
Yeah. So I went and met the former vice president. I got to him through Madam Winifred. She's now with him now. And Winifred made me to meet him. When we met, he said, I've been following you and admire your advocacy. Then he said, what is the problem? I said, I have been appointed as honorary consul of Ukraine to Liberia. And one of the reasons why I accepted this position is to create opportunity for young people to go out there to study. He called someone from the NSA at the time, who is now a senator. I don't want to call him. He did everything possible for me to be accepted. It was not possible. The second one, as a vice president, he came out and said, after those concession agreements were pronounced globally as bogus agreements, he said, he included himself because he was a member of the government, that we squandered opportunities. And I said to myself, that if a sitting vice president can come up publicly and say that we have squandered opportunity, it means that he has made many efforts behind the scene to make things right. So even when I was forming Liberia First Movement, President Bouaka will tell you, he's one of the few people that I went to and I told him, this is what we are about to establish. It is not a movement that we want presidency, but it's a movement that we want to stabilize Liberia. We want a system in Liberia. And he's giving me a blessing. When I was decided to run for the presidency, I went and met him. I said, I'm going to the election. But we all know that if there's a second round, it could be between you and the president. That's former President we are. All of us are contesting. I contesting because we disagree with how governance system is going on. And whatever decision comes from the Liberian people, we will support it. And he came second. And that we're under no condition, no request. Only a few requests we made, and that request was national request. There was no request for job for my partisan. There was no request for job for myself. It was a request that, Mr. President, please be our Liberian president through reconciliation. Mr. President, be our Liberian president through empowering our people. Mr. President, be our Liberian president being an accountable leadership, by providing accountable leadership. Mr. President, be a good Liberian president by developing our nation. And he responded with 3 words. Love Liberia, think Liberia, and build Liberia. And I emphasize on each war crime code. When he took over, in less than 100 days, he did that. During our pronouncement, that day I was here at Executive Mansion, he held my hand and he said, he whispered to me, he said, he's saying what I said to you, I will do it. But the issue here is, the president had a book. In that book, he still has a book, a notebook. He has concession agreements that he disagreed with personally with your vice president. So I believe that he will have done everything possible, no matter how hostile is the legislature. And the good thing is that the legislature is very responsive to the will of the executive. So I believe there is a good chance for him that he could convince them by using patriotism, by using Liberia, putting Liberia first, to say that let's renegotiate these agreements in the interest of Liberia. My brother, someone told me that, oh, when you sign an agreement, it is very difficult to change it around. I did my own research. One of the senators gave me just an area of Bear Mountain. Bear Mountain signed an agreement in 2013. You remember that, right? And that agreement was for 25 years. You'll be very surprised that in 2023, during the heat of the election, between August and September, that election, that agreement was amended. Less than 10 years, it was amended and given another 25 years. And there was no argument, there was no noise about that. Those from the ruling party at the time, and those from opposition at the time, and those who were independent candidates at the time in the legislature, they all agreed. They all agreed to renew the agreement, knowing very well that it was not in the interest of Liberia.
So when you say You had HAD.
Yes.
It means you've changed your mind.
Yes, I have begun to have doubt. You know, my grandfather used to say to me that an inch of doubt is heavier than tons of truth.
An inch
Of doubt
is heavier than
tons of truth. Because if you fully believe in Clarence Jackson, and Clarence has said something, and you begin to see that Clarence has done something, that Clarence has the power to change something, and Clarence refuses to change that. And even though you have made some changes, that does not mean that 100% you lose confidence in him, but you have doubt. So when you have doubt, that trust, the word trust, is food.
So you have doubts in President Bouaga now?
I have some level of doubt
now
in what he should do for Liberia. But I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful that he will do the best for our country to move forward. You know, when I was coming up as a young man, I felt that the only way we could make change was to be shouting. I felt that the only way we could make change was to challenge the system. But I have come to the realization that we can make recommendations to leaders continuously. And I have observed from 2005 up to present, there have been no public demonstration or manifestation of the people to the legislature where it have been a redress. No protests have been from 2005 to now, where the people went to the legislature and they requested for something that was done. It never happened.
Maybe we need to check out for one or two.
We have to check out for one or two. So what I said to myself quite recently in Mauritius, when we put on the leadership of the African People's Movement, where I was elected.
It was established in Mauritius.
Yes, you know, we had the discussion in 2019 with Professor Lumumba. We spoke about it, we talked about it, but now it became a continental something beyond Liberia. So Liberia is just a headquarter. So this movement is built on 4 pillars. And these 4 pillars, we say, we cannot have African Union, we cannot have a united Africa if we are not reconciled with ourselves. We have to firstly heal our wounds, you know, as people. And reconciliation is paramount to unity. And we also believe that we cannot have a progressive future youth if they are not empowered. Education should be prioritized. And I believe that with resources we have and the minimum population we have, that education should be free in this country. It will manage our resources very well. And this movement will have chapter in every African state. As I'm talking to you now, we'll have few meetings next month to meet some head of states by next month upward. So the second one is
what do you hope to achieve?
What we hope to
you
achieve?
Think these African presidents and governments will listen to you?
They will listen.
They already view Lumumba as a critical person.
No, let me tell you something. We should not generalize our leaders as being failures. We should not. You know, we should not do that. I used to.
Meaning there are some good African leaders.
There are some good African leaders. Imagine Niger, for example. Niger have been in darkness from independence up to 3 years ago.
There's a military regime there.
Yes. But guess what happened? Today, Niger was the one, uranium of Niger was providing electricity for France, and people were paying almost nothing for electricity in France, where people of Niger were in darkness. The gold from Mali was supporting many countries through their their banks, their currency. Same with Burkina Faso. But guess what? They decided to say no. And let me give you another democratic example. The president of Guinea, quite recently, put stop to exportation of gold, raw gold from his country. And now they have built a gold refinery.
They did that?
Yes. They'll be inaugurating it very soon. In that gold refinery, every gold will pass through that gold refinery. And now they are negotiating now that they'll be having equated, not
royalties?
Not royalty. And this is equity. And this, let me tell you something. And to be honest with you, I read the AL-MOUSTAPHA agreement. Don't you know that Liberia has 30% equity? But we ignore it.
You think we ignore it? We're not benefiting?
No, we're not benefiting.
I think last year, whatever, we got $200 million.
Let me tell you something. The former Minister of Mines and Energy explained to us how many tons of iron ore leave this country. Yeah, when Madam Salif signed that agreement, they had an agreement to have just 5 million tons of iron ore to leave Liberia. Well, the 3 counties that is Niba County, Grand Bison, and Bond County were benefiting $3 million for social development fund. And they were to take out 5 million metric tons annually. But guess what? Today, with a new agreement, the amended one, a cell-meter is permitted to take up to 25 million to 30 million metric ton out, and has increased or decreased, somehow we say decreased, the amount for SDF from 3 million to 5 million. So when they were taking out 5 million metric ton, they were paying $3 million to the 3 counties. Now they are taking up to 30 million metric tons. They are paying $5 million to us. So what do we benefit? Are these agreements in the interest of Liberia? Why must we have be an iron ore producing country? We cannot have national steel factory. Why must we be a gold producing country? We cannot have a gold refinery in our country, national gold refinery in our country, where our country will say, no,
I think the Minister of Lands,
the new minister, yes, oh yes,
I heard something like that.
He's working on that, and I must admit, he's one person in the government that I have great respect for. He's working on that. And so imagine, Beer Mountain declared quite recently that they produce 900 kilo of gold every month. 900 kilo of gold times 12 is 10 ton, 800 kilo of gold. You just multiply 10 ton, 10.8 times 150. 1,000 kilo is 1 ton. So just imagine you calculate $150,000 per kilo times 1 ton, that is times 1,000. Do you know how much we're going to benefit? Imagine that Liberia has 30%. In that 30% gold, Liberia does not need to sell the gold. Liberia will keep the gold at our vault at the central bank and use this guarantee to build our roads. And when we build the roads, we'll have toll booths, and those who will be plying the road will be paying towards it. So our gold remove us at the same time.
Idea?
That is the idea of the movement. And the movement idea is we can have land and we have resources, and the people are begging. You know, Liberia is a great country, and Liberians are not lazy people.
You would not have formed part of the movement had you still been in government. Am I correct?
Yes. And that is why, no, I will have still been part of it, because you know what? My position didn't change. From the day I took office as an ambassador at large, I never changed my statement. I always give 1 year and speak to people internally, and do observation in 6 months. The next 6 months, speak to people internally. And if there's no redress, then I come up publicly and speak of these things. And before even speaking on some of these things publicly, the speaker, one of the persons who I also have great respect for, despite their decision, I have great respect for him. I don't think the legislators see me as an enemy. Probably they misunderstood me, or they misinterpreted me and felt disrespected, that it was challenging that somebody in government could speak the way that I spoke. It was strange.
Do you miss the position?
I don't miss it.
You don't?
I don't miss it. But because I still maintain the same responsibility. I never had a position, had a responsibility. And I still continue to excel that responsibility. And what is that responsibility?
Did you tell Lumumba that you were removed because you were concerned about some issues?
He was informed about everything. And nothing was done before his constitution. And he said to me, I respect you. One thing he said to me, do not leave with anger. Your leaving government should not be your party leaving the government. You have an agreement. Let you be known as a man that respect agreement, whether written or non-written. And when I was removed from my position, all of the interviews I've had, I always said that the movement, Liberia First Movement, still maintains its relationship, still maintains its alliance with the Rescued Alliance until 2029.
Do you regret anything? If you were given the opportunities you had a few months ago, will you speak the way you spoke?
Absolutely.
Will you speak the way you spoke?
I will have spoken more than what I did. If I addressed the European Parliament in Italy, and the European Parliament, after I addressed them, it was a painful truth that was said to them. What happened? What did it do? They translated my speech into Italians and shared it with Italian media. And they also even sent me the copy of that voice in the Italian language.
Which was normal.
Wait,
if a Frenchman
let me come to that.
And he speaks
then further to that, our university a prestige university in Italy contacted me to give me an honorary doctorate degree for my stance at the parliament. That it was the very first time
They did that?
they did that. And I was not available to receive the award. My daughter, my second daughter, flew from France and she went to Italy to receive that award as an honorary doctorate degree. And quite recently, they just sent me a message that the Prime Minister would like to meet with me. So my relationship, my stance is not against a government. I am not against this government because first of all, when you define government, it means the people. We are the government. Those who are employed, who are elected, they are our servants. They are working for us. So the legislature is not a threat to me. My duty is if things are not going rightly, the first thing I should do is to do a written communication, which I did. I'm on record that I wrote the speaker 5 different letters. I forwarded to him on the same concern, and I wrote the President pro tempore one of the letters and addressed it to her. And because I've got no redress, is when I went to Italy, I spoke and I also make reference to Liberia. And even tomorrow,
I think they also recently reference your appearance here. I think one of them
yeah,
back to OKFM.
Yes, you know they reference my appearance here. Then and you and I had a conversation where I stated that the legislature received bribe, and I used Madam Salif as evidence that she provided 100 pickups to lawmakers. There was one person who refuses. That was Franklin SHEIKH. You still remember that? And I said there's a need that the legislature should prioritize Liberia. And imagine, one of them told me when we're having a case, he said, but Sheikh, guess what? Even the settlement agreement, it had 5 more years when we renew it. And guess what? The light went off. We had to use our phone lights to ensure that we signed it to have the amendment.
What trying to tell you?
To tell me that they support me.
They did the wrong thing?
You have to tell me that, let me tell you something.
But the president should have mustered the courage to vote against.
No, guess what? Guess what? This country, there's a system that has been put in place. I do believe that there are more good people in this country. Still good people in this country. But we have more bad people in government than the good people. And because it's a recycle system. And somebody who never had a 1-bedroom become a government official, he become a rich person, and quickly become they call it philanthropics. Oh, he's building schools. Oh, now he's paying people school fees. And so he's a good man. He's our leader. He's our leader. But what is a leader? A leader is one who forsake his happiness for the happiness of others.
Let's talk about a little bit about the recruitment of membership for your new movement. What are you doing to get visible?
What we are firstly doing right now is that we are building continental chapter. So the recruitment will be done nationally. So we are putting on firstly the national leadership. We have the president from Liberia. We have the secretary general for Comoros Republic. And we have
the president, that you?
Yeah, I'm the president.
So in the movement, you got president.
Yeah, vice president. Yeah, so we have the president and /SRC, Stefan in charge. And so I got elected as the president. And now the headquarters is in Monrovia. So temporarily, I'm using my office as a headquarters, while we have a plan of having a real headquarters in Sanikole. We believe that AU, African Union, was giving birth in Liberia. And Liberia should be one of the decisive nations in Africa when it comes to the African Union. And apart from that, Liberia is one of the founders of a United Nations. And I had a meeting with one of the UN senior staffs quite recently in Ethiopia last month. He asked me, what do you think is a way forward for Africa to have representation on the Security Council, permanent seat? What is the idea? You know what I said to him? I said the day Africa they begin to realize that even though we are not seen as one country, and we are seen as one continent, and we're seen as divided states, if we decide to say, okay, whoever is a president of the African Union head of states authority, that person that year should represent Liberia at the United Nations Security Council as permanent member. If we make a recommendation to the United Nations, there will be no way that we say no, because we are unanimously agreed that whoever is the president of African Union head of states authority should become the representative of Africa on the United Nations permanent seat. we will always have a seat there. But as long as we don't agree with that, and we say, oh, this country is big, this country is small, this country is powerful, we will never have it, because there'll be this misunderstanding. And he said to me, this is a good recommendation. And he advised me, can you write the commission chairperson and inform me about this idea, or ask for an audience? And what we did, we wrote a letter, and we are expecting to have an audience very soon. We'll come with the commissioner head. We also expecting very soon to have meeting with the president of AU, head of state governing authority. And I can tell you that we will succeed. Liberia was given birth by an idea, not an idea, not by an individual. And Africa have been moving. All those countries in Africa that got independence, they were not given independence by men. They were given independence based on ideas that men follow. And I believe that
if we... What's your current relationship with former President George Weah?
I don't have any problem with former President George Weah. I wish if I see him today, I would speak to him. I don't know what would be his response. But the last time I saw him was at the Bolivar Palace Hotel. And I got off my seat to speak to him. He said, don't come around here. Don't talk to me. But whenever I see him, I'll still speak to him. I still have respect for him because he is a former president. He's a leader of our country. And despite political reason, he also plays some part globally, where he makes Liberia to be known internationally as a nation that produced the first African to get you become European best, even though he's not a European, to become first African, the only African to have Ballon d'Or. I think we must give him a respect. You know, I have respect in him as a person, but in terms of leadership, I think we need direction than individual.
Former Ambassador Sheikh KOUYATEH is our guest this morning. He has announced the formation of a new movement. He says it's different from the one Liberia Movement Political Party. It's a continental institution that is not an anti-government, but they will also not support government like that. They will be making recommendations and meeting national leaders in countries. He said he has no regret not being an ambassador, because you know why? It was not about a position, it was about a responsibility, and he still believes everything he says, and he believes in himself. Let's hear from you in the public. What do you think? We can talk. This morning, like I said, we have invited him to talk more about the new movement he's establishing. How is it not going to be the same as other movements in the country? 0777 700 995 0555 995 995. Good morning.
Good morning, Calvin.
Good morning, my friend. Good morning, my friend.
My name is Amara.
Okay.
Good morning, Sheikh.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir.
Okay. It's been a while. We have been seeing.
Yes, I've been out.
Sheikh released a brother too. Not only me, a lot of us, biologically, religiously, and nationwide, by nationality. And again, he has his opinion to issue. And Sheikh was just in government. I know sometimes people can express their anger in many ways. But I'd like to say to Sheikh, in this public man, is my brother. The advice for him Hindu is there. At times it's very good to speak, but sometimes it's better to listen and learn from some mistakes, for the lack of better words. So I will find a time with me, but again, a lot of people respect you, a lot of us listen to you, a lot of us admire you. But this government, for you to come up openly and say that in your expression, that some of the things that you think that were promised are not being delivered by the president. I think that's been very, very disingenuous.
The man is some of the things. He was practical. He named some things. He talked about a reform in mineral development agreements. He was clear.
Okay, that is that. But you carry that in there. Know very well that those agreement was not signed by this government.
No. I can't be bossman. What? Don't hold me at evidence. What do you think about it? The man just said. The man just said development agreement, he said some of the amendments honor the government. He did not think it would go the way it went because the president said he would have done it different.
So now he should be in a position to tell us how it went and how he expected it and how it was. He should put it as the law.
Thank you. But the man was clear. The man explained the thing in my late son used to say in totality, in its totality. Hello? Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, Kataka, let's hear you. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Are you there? Yeah. Good morning, brother. Man, what's your name? Momo Johnson? Why? Yeah, you think around.
Good morning, my dear brother. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go, yeah. Hello.
So good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, sorry for the poor quality of my voice due to cold. My name is AL-MOUSTAPHA. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh KOUYATEH.
Walaikum salam, Honorable Plaki. How you doing today?
My God is good. Thank God for His grace
Okay.
that we were able to wake up this morning. Well, I want to thank you for your explanation, but I want to disagree with you on one part. There's a difference between quotation and trying to explain what the former vice president said at the time, who is now current vice president. The president did not say we squander opportunity. You got to learn to quote the president very well. The president said, he said there were opportunities squandered. There's a difference between we squander and opportunities were squandered. And you know the role of a vice president. Everywhere in our constitution.
No, the vice president said we squander a lot of opportunities. That's what he said.
He did not say we squander, he said there were opportunities squandered.
No, we need to check for that report. He said, bossman, he said, no, okay, assuming he did not say we, right? Assuming he said there were a lot of opportunities squandered, you think he was exempting himself?
No, you see, it's good to quote the president, then you cannot explain. The president, you can't try to misquote the former vice president at the time. President Blanca said there were lots of opportunities squandered.
I said he said we squandered a lot of opportunities. We will check. Two all check. We'll check for that.
Because my brother Sheikh continued to carry such a message, the president said we squander. He said there were lots of opportunities squandered.
But I'm not getting your point. Like I said, assuming without admitting that he said there were a lot of opportunities squandered, he was referring to the United Party government where he served as vice president.
Well, you see, you're validating my argument. I have said to you, there's a difference between quoting somebody and trying to explain what the president said.
No, I'm not validating anything even. There is a point here all of us driving at. The point Sheikh is driving at, Sheikh said that as a certain vice president at that time for Vice President Bouaga to have said that, it means he was an honest man. He said it out of honesty, and this is one reason why he gained his admiration. So that's what I'm saying.
He's an honest man. He's an honest man.
Well, I mean, I don't question. I don't question that, but I'm saying again, assuming he didn't say we, but even if he said there were a lot of opportunities squandered, he was referring to the party that he said are vice president of the government. It means
that was a profound statement to say there were opportunities squandered. That means the president was speaking truth and he meant what he said. But for Sheikh to say the president said we, I wanted to set the quotation straight. When you want to
no, that mean he was speaking true. He said what he said, but he was saying there are a lot of but he was also saying there are a lot of opportunities that. No, I mean no. Let agree on something. What you were trying to say was in our government we had a lot of opportunities. There were a lot of opportunities, but we didn't do it good. We squandered.
There were some things that we did not do. We did some things, but there were some things that we did not do. And President Parker was very on that statement.
But that's the truth. But all I was saying the thing, even and I said that even during the campaign, I said that, and a lot of people didn't want to hear it. I said that Vice President Parker said that it was an honest statement. That you yourself as government said there were a lot of opportunity. I mean, he said we squandered a lot of opportunity, but you said he said we were not there. But I said that statement was honest. So we say the same thing. What Sheikh saying that you try? I don't know. Good morning. Yeah, man, you know sometimes the show it can be easy. Good morning. Why are you laughing for? You dropping my frequency? Go ahead. Eric, go ahead. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was an inclusive statement. He included himself, including his boss at the time. But I want to make a statement towards our former president William. Clarence were here with former president William when you in my country. Prophet Key, who insulted President William, insulted his wife, insulted his mother, insulted his mother. But we saw them when Prophet Key walked to former president William, they shook hands. I find it difficult to understand this morning. Sheikh KOUYATEH, please.
But did you not also see when Joseph Barker won the election, they went to executive mansion for the transitional meeting? Did you not also see Jeremiah stretch hand to President Weah and he refused to shake it? Did you not also see when the late Prince Johnson died at Prince Johnson's home, Jeremiah went to the president and refused to shake his hand?
I didn't see this.
Okay.
Now, the point I'm trying to make is that Sheikh KOUYATEH have been with the CDC, supported the CDC, supported the United Party. And he's not one person who have been there. He said, no, the ambassador studio can depot you based on ideas. He does not need some people. So I find it difficult to fathom why someone said, move from here, move from here. I'm looking at, you talk about Jeremiah, he said, move from here, move from here.
No, he didn't say. But you know the reason why I'm asking is sometimes you people create the impression that no, let me tell you, everybody is a human being. When you're not making look like President William doesn't get angry at all. Even if you cause him, say he will just forgive. That's when a human being can get vet. Myself, I say that I can get vet. Even when you maybe vet will do something, I can stop you. No, I said that the impression people can create sometimes. I've never got him fair. You don't can be political. I've never got him fair. The point I'm making is everybody like human being. I mean, that's what was clear on the video. We are Jeremiah construct him. We are walking away because apparently he still has an issue. And sometimes we can say, oh, the man has to do that, but sometimes everybody like human being. And for God's sake, so now you want to restrain yourself. You don't want to do certain things, but and they get some point. I can't pretend. They just weird. They get issue with you, they will express it in their action. Hello? Good morning. Good morning.
Good. Fine, my brother.
So you said that to mean that once you got government job now, you under obligation not to say your heart, not to say the truth. You don't speak anymore. Hmm? So for example, when Sheikh says the legislature is corrupt, have we not heard that? Don't we know that members of the legislature themselves have said? So when a member of the legislature says the legislature is corrupt, that person should get impeached. I mean, we should take that person from the. Okay, thank you. Anyway, all right, final call, man. Hello. You say I caught you up?
Walaikum salam, my brother.
You ask the man to create a government, don't say good thing, don't say bad thing, just say great.
We will create a government when it reach 5 years. For now, we are not creating. I'm not going to create a government. When it's 5 years, we'll create a government.
Already do good things. Just say you listen to the speeches.
Fellow Liberians, I just want to say to you that Liberia is a great country, and we Liberians, we are great people. And I want to urge us all. Let's reconcile as one people. Let's find a solution that will empower our citizenry. Let's support land and resource ownership. The movement, African People Movement, is not a movement for a specific tribe. It is a non-political party movement. No matter which party you form, which tribe you form, which religion you form, the movement is open to everyone. And I'm encouraging you all. And to tell you that I'm also sharing the website of the movement to you. It's www.africanpeoplesmovement.org. All is one. All the words are connected together. The letters are connected together. And I want to say to you that Liberia will become a better place for every one of us. We will begin to see ourselves more as Liberians than seeing ourselves as partisans. There will be government after government. There will be presidents after presidents. But Liberia will remain the same Liberia, and we, the citizens of Liberia, will always be the citizens of this country. Let's embrace ourselves. Let's see ourselves as one people, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much.
Okay, my brother, thank you so much for coming. Sheikh, former Ambassador Sheikh Al-Hadi KOUYATEH.